I have
Right.
colleagues and they will challenge certain things. Oh, but is it this and is it that? And no, it is what I said it is.
Mm.
You know, I don't challenge the experience of my clients because I understand what you went through. I understand what's going on here.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Naturally You Radio. My name's Leah, I'm the Naturally You coach, and we are here to support Black women on their journey to eating for health, thinking for happiness, and living in harmony. And in today's podcast, I would like to welcome the amazing Hannah, who is a counsellor and therapist and moving into other areas of healing. And she's someone that I've followed on social media for a while, and it's been delightful to see her journey. And I wanted to introduce her to you all and to speak to her. And one of the things that when I asked her, what would you like to speak about on this? The thing that she wanted to speak about is absolutely so important for Black women to hear the conversation and acknowledge that in their own life. But before we go into that, Hannah, welcome to the Naturally You Radio. And could you introduce yourself to everyone?
Hi, Leah. Thank you so much for inviting me on. How exciting. So I'm Hannah. I am a counsellor. I've been a counsellor for 8 years and I am moving into coaching as well. And I believe we met when I came to you.
Yeah, you
For
did.
your,
Yeah.
yeah, which is fantastic. I loved
Thank you.
it.
In fact, let's start on that.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is the difference between counselors and coaches? Because you said you are a counselor and you're moving into.
Mm. So the main difference is coaching focuses on the here and now and giving you the tools to move forwards towards whatever your goals are. Um, and with therapy, it can go back into the past, find root causes, find the original traumas of things, like sit with those and process them. So for me personally, I believe that it is all necessary.
Hmm.
Um, as a therapist for all these years, I'm naturally solution focused anyway. So I would kind of add coaching and CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, into my work anyway. So I feel that the somatic coaching for me is just adding an extra layer. I don't know if I should call it a layer. It's more
Hmm.
depth, working more in depth. And the therapist in me is going nowhere. So I'm always going to be um, wanting to help people to process and heal those past experiences and traumas.
So that's the point. Is there one that you think is more beneficial rather, because I know some people are like, okay, we shouldn't dwell on the past,
Mm.
focus on the future. Other people are like, we can't move into the future until we've dealt with the past.
Mm-hmm.
So which one do you think is more important, or do you think that people should be kind of accessing both of them?
I feel like that is specific to the client because it depends on what they're willing to do. Um, Sometimes our traumas aren't always in the forefront of our minds anyway. So we don't necessarily know that a trauma is a trauma. There's like a difference between big T trauma and small T traumas, which can be like just everyday things that are quite common that have actually had a massive impact on your life. And not everyone thinks that it is beneficial to go back and look at that.
Mm.
However, if it's impacted your life, I would argue that it is beneficial to look at it. However, I don't think one is more important than the other because having the tools to move forwards in a healthy way and to adopt healthy coping strategies, I feel
Mm.
like is really, really important. And challenging limiting beliefs so that you can live the best version of your life, it is so important. So
Yeah.
I don't know that one is more important than the other.
Yeah, yeah. So can you just let us know what made you decide to go into therapy and counseling, and then what's inspired you to add coaching to the work, somatic coaching specifically, to the
Mhm.
work that you're doing as well?
So I feel like I've grown up um, with this conditioned belief that Black people don't check their business. And yes, we all recognize this, right? Um, and so I luckily did have someone that I used to speak to as a child, but I was made to feel bad for speaking about things. And I've always known deep down that this isn't right. We need to speak. And there is so much science and evidence to back that speaking therapy and talking therapy is healing and growthful. So I think that soul knowing in me has always been there, but there's not been a safe space or platform or container for that. And so, what's that quote? Be what you always needed.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
thought, yeah, we need, and I thought, back in the days, there wasn't really a lot of online. I mean, there was, but I wasn't really going to be working online. And so in my town, there isn't a lot of Black therapists.
Mm,
So I thought we need to talk. Black people need to talk. We need to start our healing. And that's really what kind of drove me
mm.
to become a counsellor.
And do you think that, or how do you feel when about the idea that, basically the idea of, the idea of this podcast and the work that a lot of more people are doing now, um, where we are arguing that Black people need to work with Black practitioners, because that is the
Mm.
basis of the work that I'm doing. But I'm happy to be challenged on it. But
Hmm.
how do you, as a Black practitioner, do you feel that it's important? How important do you feel it is? I'm not even going to go into do you think it's important, because I think that's standard.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it's important that Black people work with other Black people. But can
Hmm.
you just let us know why? Why
Yeah.
is it? Why is there a difference when a
Yeah.
Black person works with a Black practitioner versus a practitioner of other cultures?
So there are a few basic conditions for therapy, and one of them is empathy. And so when you're a Black person, you're working with a Black therapist, immediately you have common understanding. So I believe in the Black experience, and another Black person, we just understand it. So clients can say certain things to me, and I understand what you're saying.
Mhm.
Um, whereas I have colleagues and
They're
they
not
will,
listening. They're not listening. You can say what you need to say.
yeah, I have
All right.
colleagues and they will challenge certain things. Oh, but is it this and is it that? And no, it is what I said it is.
Mm,
You know, I don't challenge the experience of my clients because I understand what you went through. I understand what's going on here,
mm,
and I think that's so important. Because people need to feel heard, they need to feel understood. Um, that's kind of that's very significant for vulnerability. For someone to
mm,
feel comfortable to open up to you, they have to feel like you're going to understand them as a person and what they're saying. So if you're going to go to your white therapist and talk about your Black experience, they might not understand, or they'll say, oh yeah, but is it because of this? And
can't be that bad.
exactly,
Yeah.
because there's just not that base. I
Yeah.
mean, don't get me wrong, they can draw from other experiences in their lives when they have been marginalized, but you just know that when you go to a Black therapist, you're gonna have that basic understanding.
Mm. So, what inspired you to go from that to add coaching, and
Mm,
specifically somatic coaching? And for those that
yeah.
don't know what somatic coaching is, if you can let people know what somatic coaching is and what made you choose to add that
Mm.
work that you're doing.
So somatic is all about the body and embodying so really feeling and witnessing your emotions, connecting with the body, and most importantly, drawing your answers from the body. And I feel that that kind of breeds trust in yourself, which is key for guiding yourself through life, really. So with speaking therapy or counselling, talking therapy, I should say, um, I have found that there is a limit to where I can take my clients, and I can give the tools, but it's really up to the client to go away and implement the tools.
Mm.
Whereas in somatic coaching, we're using the tools in the session. So
Right.
we're starting off the session with grounding into your body. So immediately you're relaxing into the session, you're releasing your shoulders, you're releasing the tension, you're grounding, you're feeling your body in the session, because we are going to focus on whatever is present in your body, and that's where the work starts. And the key focus is on observation and witnessing and being curious. And I feel like for a lot of Black people, we're often in survival mode quite a lot. And so we're often quite detached from our bodies. And
Mm.
our bodies are here as messengers, really, to let us know certain things are going on for us. So if you have a certain pain in your body or a certain tension, like that's there, I guess, as a signal to let you know what is going on in your environment. If you need to change something, if you need to, like, something might be out of balance. And so the body has so much information for us,
Mm.
that I think that is so important to listen and connect with it. And when you notice it and really feel into it, it magically heals itself. So you've heard the phrase, you've got to feel it to heal it, right? And so somatic coaching for me is really adding in that feeling part into my work. And also, I didn't mention I'm an energy healer as well. So
Ah,
I love all of it. It kind of,
okay.
yeah. So somatic healing really brings in the intuitive side of it,
Mm.
and the soma, the body side of it as well. So for me, it's more complete. It's body, mind, and soul.
Mm.
Working with the whole person, holistic. I love it.
Yes. So again, for sisters that aren't aware of what energy healing is, and I think it's becoming a lot more popular with Black women. I literally spoke to someone who is a social worker, and she went on a
Mm.
healing journey, took 6 months off work, and one of the things she did is studied Reiki. I studied Reiki when I was younger.
Mhm.
And I think Reiki is maybe the one thing that people do know about. But again, for sisters that don't know what Reiki is, to know whether it's something they might want to implement in their lives,
Mm.
explain what energy healing is in general.
Hmm. So, okay, start from the beginning. Everything is energy, right? Um, and so energy healing is basically using yourself as a conduit to channel energy. When you are Reiki attuned, your hands are activated to hold a lot more energy and light. Um, and so that when that's channeled, either in person to somebody or even remotely,
Mm.
um, as long as the recipient is relaxed and open to receiving, that healing energy will go to where it's needed. Is that enough of an explanation?
Okay, so again, for
Yeah.
people who have no idea
Mm.
about any of this, where is the energy coming from in the first place?
Oh my gosh, we're going deep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're going to the beginning, literally for someone that's
Yeah.
never heard of energy healing before. Where is
Okay.
the energy that we're talking about? Where is it even coming from?
So this is sometimes described as chi or prana, and it is universal energy. I'm just going to say this is like coming straight from God as a channel through the conduit to the recipient. So universal energy, like basically everything is energy. We're just channeling it. So,
And which it's okay. Which
oh,
one which did you do Reiki?
yeah. So I did all of the levels of Reiki. However, I don't call myself a Reiki healer because I learned Reiki in a big class of people,
Mm.
and I was mainly taught to do it intuitively. So
Oh, nice.
being a good student, I used my intuition. And when I opened my eyes, I was doing things very different to how other people were doing it in the class. And it's like my body, when I say I'm a conduit, my body literally takes me, pushes me, pulls me. I find myself doing the most wild things in a Reiki session, and this is how I know it's not my energy. Something is like helping me to move the energy to where it needs to be and transmute and all of this. So I don't do typical Reiki, and so that's why I don't call myself a Reiki healer. I say energy healer. I was attuned again in a large group of people, and before the guy got to me to attune my hands, they were radiating. So
Oh,
it's like I had a soul remembrance just by
nice.
being in that environment, and it's like the environment was just set there to give my mental body permission to allow this energy through that has obviously already been with me that I just didn't know. So yeah, that's why.
Nice. So, with all the things that you do, how how do you help how do you help your clients? What is it that clients how can clients benefit from the work that you do? How can they benefit from the combination of the therapy, the coaching, the somatic healing, the energy healing? Is there just kind of like one specific thing that it helps with? Because a sister might have a lot of things going on and she may not even know
Mm.
whether any of this is going to be beneficial and is going to help her. So what kind of people or what kind of conditions or symptoms or challenges does the work that you do help people with?
Mm. So I would say so common mental health issues like anxiety, stress, depression, work stress, family relationships, like all of the common things, um, are what people generally come into therapy for. With the somatic side of it, this even extends into physical pains because we can really look into those, feel into them, see what that pain is, wanting to tell you, wanting to let you know what the imbalance is. Um, and with the somatic coaching as well, it is trauma informed, and I am a therapist, so I've already been working in a trauma informed way. So, depending on your level of trauma, I could definitely help there. And with the healing, there is something kind of, well, not for everyone necessarily, because with the somatic coaching, there is a need to go a little bit deeper. So if you're a very left-brained,
Mm.
very logical thinker, the somatic coaching might not suit you as much. But if you're open to exploring your body and exploring your intuition, um, and seeing how you can heal yourself, then yeah, definitely, I think it would be beneficial for those types of people.
Thank you. Can you give us some like examples of the somatic healing, for example, some practical somatic healing exercises that you do with clients that sisters can do, on their own to start that kind of journey of of somatic healing and feeling their body.
Mhm. Um, I feel like what I'm gonna say, people are gonna already know.
Okay.
Things um, like grounding yourself, like feeling that, like
So
really
again,
tuning
not everyone
into.
knows what grounding is.
Okay.
Yeah. So even if you could explain what
Okay.
grounding is, and then if you can describe a process that someone can do to ground and the
Hmm.
benefits and what they will, how they will benefit from doing that process.
Yeah. So grounding, when I say grounding, what I mean is kind of really feeling in your body in the present moment, not thinking about the past or the future, just being present in the moment in your body. So this means feeling your feet on the floor, feeling your body on whatever you're sitting on or laying on. You could even do a body scan. So you're feeling every single part of your body. So your feet, starting from your toes, your feet, your ankles, going all the way up your body and really feeling into that and feeling grounded. And embodied. We can take this further and put your feet on the natural ground, and that's what most people mean when they say grounding, is connecting with the earth, because Earth has an energy and we are energized by connecting with it without our shoes on. Grounding as well is one of the tools for anxiety. So really connecting into your senses, like what can you see, what can you hear, what can you smell, what can you taste, what can you touch? And that again draws you out of your anxiety, which is looking into the future, draws you out of your depression, which is based in your past, into the present moment, being focused on what is happening in the here and now. Another great one is gratitude. I do use this in somatic coaching as well, is gratitude. Being grateful for having all of your needs met in this now moment.
Mm.
So in this exact moment right now, all my needs are met. And that is really good to ground you into the present moment, because life is so fast paced and we often kind of get lost in that and get quite disconnected. So yeah, that's what I mean by grounding. There's a lot of meanings to grounding.
Yeah. And what kind of, can you describe an exact practice that someone can do to ground themselves?
So if you're going to use a body scan, you can do just that. You can sit still and focus on your body in part. You can do these guided as well. There are things online where someone will speak you through it. And so often when something is guided or done in community, it's easier to tune in, but you can do it by yourself just by stopping for a minute, sitting still, and literally focusing on each part of your body. And that is going to ground you into the present moment. So that is a practice that you can use.
What do you do it in a particular order, or just kind
Good
of
question.
randomly?
Yeah, no, I would do it in order.
Yeah,
But is that just because I'm just like that?
it's okay. It's just having something that they can go away with. Yeah.
Yeah, I would do it in order, starting from the feet upwards.
Hmm.
Um, just because it would flow more naturally and you're less likely to think, what have I missed out? You don't necessarily want to think too much about it. You more want to kind of embody it and ease into it.
Mm.
So yeah, I would do each part in turn.
Cool. Do you have any like examples or case studies of people that you've worked with, and different kind of challenges that they've had, and then they've worked with you and what's happened afterwards?
Hmm. Um, so many. I think this is what keeps me in this job, is that feeling of, oh my gosh, did that actually just happen? Um, I think okay, specifically Black women, I've had some clients who, I think you touched on it earlier, are doing a certain thing in their life because they've been guided to because of parents or family members or expectation in some way. And in therapy, in psychological theory, we call this your ideal self. And this isn't necessarily in alignment with your true self.
Hmm.
And so you're living out an ideal version of yourself based on your community, based on the need to be validated, accepted, and that's what we need the most, because we're communal beings. It's like we survive best in community. And so you're doing something that is not necessarily in alignment with your true self. And so when we really look at that and unpack it, and challenge the beliefs, maybe find some autonomy, look at autonomy and personal agency. I have seen people who have maybe had like side hustles that were making them money the whole time, but they're doing this other thing to suit somebody else. And I'm just like, but
Yeah.
it's clear that this thing is already successful, but because whoever it may be, they don't approve of it, they're
Mm.
not making that thing their main thing. And so I've seen the switch in therapy. So they've kind of made that their main thing and their career's just gone off. And I'm just like, huh? Wow. Sometimes I'm shocked myself
Mm,
by when you really challenge your beliefs and why you're doing certain things. Um, Massive changes can be made. And I feel like actually that's another thing that we grow up believing is that life has to be hard and you have to work hard
mm,
and you have to do a job just to survive and to get money and to pay the bills. And this is the way that you live your life. And for me, I'm more like empowerment. I love seeing someone doing what they love,
mm,
regardless of what that is. That I love seeing that in someone. So that's naturally where I'll go to. Like, where is your heart at? That's where I want to see
mm,
you. And so I've had, yeah, many clients who have changed careers whilst being with me, and just finding something more aligned to
mm.
them. It's kind of like being given permission,
Right.
um, to be you, and it is okay to just be you. Because actually that's your gift and that's the blessing that you're here to give the world is to be you.
Mm. So one of the things that we spoke about, which is in alignment with what you were just talking about, is the the very negative trope of being a strong black woman.
Mm-hmm.
Can you speak on that? How, your thoughts and feelings on it, the repercussions of it, things.
Oh, yeah, the repercussions are that you're going to hold things inside that are most probably um, going to cause pain in some way, either mental, physical, or otherwise. For me, this was modeled to me strongly. Um, and perhaps I do maybe still suffer it a little bit in my life. However, you kind of grow up thinking, okay, um, you kind of suck it up and you get on with it and you don't ask for help. And actually, throughout my journey, I've learned that that is kind of the opposite to strength. I've learned that actually there's power in vulnerability. Um, Sometimes I think being strong Black women means that you don't reach out for help, you don't connect with other people, you don't allow other people to help you. And people therefore don't know how to help you because they don't think that they don't envisage you like that, someone who needs to be looked after or nurtured. So naturally they're not going to be that way with you. Um, However, I feel like that leads to a lot of denial. So not focusing on past traumas, not focusing on maladaptive behaviors, um, perhaps even using like anger or aggression as a go-to, that I feel like that's quite common.
Mm,
Um, and not really looking at where that comes from or not kind of going back through the generations to see, okay, this really isn't even my anger. This isn't really the strong Black women. I don't even need to be strong anymore. I have, I have a community around me. I have people I can lean on. I can actually ask for help. And would people would feel privileged to help me.
yeah.
So I feel that it is so detrimental because it kind of encourages avoidance of issues, denial of issues. And I believe after, learning all that I have, that actually there's strength in meeting your issues head on. That's hard.
Yeah.
Really looking at your wounds, that's hard. This is why people don't really come to therapy, because it's hard. It's
Mm,
not necessarily a nice experience. It's not like popping a pill. It's not that easy. you
mm,
know you have to look at things that aren't nice to look at. You have to see things and people for who they really are. You have to look at yourself and say, okay, maybe this isn't an ideal behavior, attitude, thought, feeling, and perhaps change it.
mm.
And change is also incredibly difficult for certain types of people. So
So, what if someone says, okay, Hannah, I hear all of that,
Mm,
but I have to be strong. I don't have time to talk about my feelings. I
hmm
don't have a community. Nobody does care about me. I am all on my own. Maybe I'm a
mm,
single mother, or, my husband's too busy to talk to me, or my parents are not very affectionate. I have to be this way. That's why I am this way. So with all the nice chat about I don't have to
mm.
be strong, blah, 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 blah. I have to do this.
Yeah.
Say to that, sister.
That is so funny because that used to be me. I used to be like, I haven't got time for emotions. I haven't got time to cry. I have to go and work so that my lights work and so I've got food in the fridge, right? Which is true. We need to survive. We live in a 3D world where we have to do certain things to get money, which we need to exchange for the things that we want, for the life that we want to live. However, I feel like there is a need for balance in this. Like I said, nobody can help you if they don't know that you need help. Um, so yes, always number one, our um our reptilian brain, our ego is there to make sure that we survive. And so that is our primal part of our brain. So before you do anything, you're going to scan the situation and think, right, what's the danger here?
Mm.
And so we're always geared towards survival in whatever that means. And we've been brought up to think that, okay, working hard is how you survive. Which isn't necessarily always the case. Sometimes asking for help is how you survive. Sometimes letting people know around you, I'm struggling with this, this, and this, and somebody else might have a better idea than you. Um, so I would say, yes, we're always going to put ourselves and our survival first, because the organism always wants to remain alive. However, I would find balance. I would challenge when you could ask for help. Maybe when you could relax. Do you always need to be on guard? Can we relax? Can we put ourselves first for a minute? For an hour a week at least, if you can. you know, can you find some sacred space, some sacred time, just to not have to be strong? And I think humans are communal beings. We are communal beings. We are meant to be together. And along the way, that has gotten lost. Although I think Black people are very communal beings, definitely. We like being together and fighting together and all of that stuff. Um, but I think, yeah, reach out for a community of people who are trusted and that you can be vulnerable with.
On that,
Mm,
and at the beginning, you were talking about traumas, big traumas, small traumas, and we obviously have the dynamic that a lot of Black women are not feeling like they can be vulnerable, or they're not
mm,
feeling like they can ask for help because there has been a trauma in the past, and it could have been
mm,
a big T or a small T trauma, like an acute trauma or a chronic trauma, but
mm,
something in their past has led them to believe when they're vulnerable, when they express
mm,
feelings, even like with yourself, when
mm,
you were younger and you did express your feelings and you got shut down, or you got
mm,
questioned, or you were told your feelings are not true, or I didn't really mean that, or when
mm,
when that's happened, how would we then encourage that sister? Because
mm,
just saying to them, you need to be more vulnerable, they're going to be like, sis, I've been vulnerable and I got,
mm,
that's why I'm traumatized.
mm.
How can we help that sister?
I feel like finding people who you are in alignment with. And like I said before, we naturally scan for danger. So looking for people who are safe to be vulnerable with. So maybe that is a therapist or a coach, or a mentor of some sort. Maybe it starts off being someone who is trained at listening and holding space. Um, but even just finding new people in softer spaces.
Hmm.
I feel like there are a lot of Black women looking for healing and going to healing spaces, um, like sister circles and
Yes.
Black yoga and
Yeah.
places like that. And I feel like, okay, sometimes your soul just knows this woman, I
Yeah.
can trust her.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you sometimes you just see a woman that just looks like an oracle. And
Yeah.
you're like, wow, and you just want
A
to
light
hug
worker.
her.
Yeah.
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 There and in psychology we call this the good enough mother.
Oh.
Yeah. So there will be a person somewhere in your life who will fill in the gaps that your primary caregivers left. So there will be someone there. It's just a case of finding them. So you
Mm.
have to trust that they're there,
Right.
first of all, and
Yeah.
then keep your eyes open because you'll attract the people that you need.
Mm. What would you, what advice would you give Black women at this time, just like sister to sister, on how they can like look after their mental health, especially with the kind of challenges that are almost always present.
Mm,
And obviously now we have access to social media and the news, and not only are we learning about
mm,
what's happening or living what's happening in our own world, we're also being exposed to the challenges of our family everywhere. That right now we have another LA riot happening right now,
mm,
mainly targeting Black and brown people.
mm,
And we both of us are in the UK, so
mm,
we're seeing the rise of the Reform Party and the rise of basically people who want to bring back more institutional racism to
mm,
even in music. Literally, Beyonce won best country and western album, and now
mm,
the Grammys are saying next year there's going to be two different country and western awards, one for traditional country and one for contemporary country. They're segregating
mm,
an awards. And all of these things are, and then the microaggressions you might experience in your own life, the trauma you're
yeah.
already going through. There's a lot.
Mm,
There's a lot of mental load. And as mothers, and I know a lot of mothers are in our network as well, mothers already carry a mental load. And then we're
yeah.
getting a mental load from, social media and the world in general. What kind of advice would you give Black women as to how they can look after themselves during this time?
So, I would probably, oh, my light's just gone out. I would probably limit the amount of media that you're consuming. If you have the ability to observe but not consume it, then fantastic. But if you find that you're really embodying all of this bad news, I would probably just steer clear of it. Me myself, I don't know. You just told me my news today. I don't because you have to protect your peace. You know, a lot of media is after your attention because it's
Yeah.
that valuable. It's your energy. They want your energy.
Mm,
And so I think maybe even that, recognizing that your energy is all that you have and it needs your protection and just focus on where you're directing your energy. Like I said, you want to be putting into yourself, pouring into yourself, pouring into yourself. Um, it's so easy to we're naturally empathic beings. So when
mm,
you see other Black people on the news being brutalized or whatever is going on, it's gonna make you angry. It's gonna have an effect. It's gonna have a pull on your energy. However, think about what it is that you can do with that energy. How can you channel what's now just changed in your body? What can you do with that? And sometimes it might be a case that you just protect yourself from that and look at how you can keep yourself protected in your own community, in your own lifestyle, and just pour into you as much as possible. Really focus on yourself, I would say that. And have faith in yourself, believe in yourself, like get to know yourself, get to understand yourself. Um, yeah, that's a difficult one because I don't see that any of that is going to stop anytime soon. So it's really
mm,
I feel like protect your peace as much as possible.
mm. What kind of services, can you let the sisters know about the kind of services that you offer and the kind of, events that you do? I saw that you did
Mm.
Sacred Sister Circle, the kind of things that they can access and how they can find you to access the one-to-one help and support, or the group support that you offer?
So I do counselling and coaching online, and you can find me at info@hnicholsontherapy.com, or I'm on social medias as Hannah Nicholson 1010 on Instagram and Hannah Nicholson on Facebook. I'm currently only doing my circles in person, which is in Buckinghamshire. However, next year I am looking to put them online. So there will be various different circles that you can get involved with, and they will heavily be taking you through that somatic experience where you really connect with yourself and have transformational experiences. And the circles that I've ran have been amazing. Again, I just love this work because the change that you see it blows me away. As long as you allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to feel.
Yes.
Where else can you find me? I think they're my channels. There will be a lot more to come, but I'm not going to spoil it. So at the minute, yeah, one-to-one online, or one-to-one in person in Buckinghamshire as well.
Before we wrap up, what do you see in your future as far as the work that you're doing, and how do you feel that that's going to impact, the people that you work with, your local community, your circle, and the world in general?
Oh, wow, the world in general. Well, one person can make a difference. Do you know what I love the most is each one teach one. So with all of the things that I'm bringing into my practice now, I'm hoping, well, I know that I will help more than one person, but even if I only helped one person, that person is going to go on to help one person, and that person might just go on to help another person. And so it goes on. And so that's how we make an impact in the world. And so going back to what you were saying with, watching what is going on in the world and how that makes you feel, if you can keep your vibration really high, channel that light and affect even just those close to you, then that effect will ripple out. And that's how we change the world, by being the best version of ourselves. And that's why I love it. That's why I love it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Hannah. Thank you for being here and for sharing so honestly, and for sharing tools that the sisters can go away with. And I look forward to, again, I'm going to share all your links with everyone, put them on the screen, put them in the notes so everyone can find you. Do you have any closing words or any closing messages for our sisters before we wrap up today?
I think believe in yourself, have faith in yourself, give yourself sacred space, know that you are a glimmer of light, you are a fragment of God, know how blessed you are, and let's all just keep it moving in love.
Thank you, sis. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I look forward to seeing you in another episode of Naturally You Radio. Everyone, take care and stay healthy.